The White House cancelled an iftar party after many Muslim American leaders rejected the invite over Biden's support for Israel's bombardment of Gaza.The. In this situation, due to embracement, the White House chose to hold a smaller dinner on Tuesday evening, and the only 25 attendees were people who work for his administration. Yesterday, Muslims living in the United States of America boycotted the iftar party given by the White House, which is slapping for American president. At White House, the arrangements of iftar party were left behind. Several Muslim leaders were denied to attend Tuesday's iftar party with US President Jo Baiden. In this situation, American President Jo Baiden faced embarrassment. He worried because of the Muslims' boycott of after dinner, and he did not even talk to the media representatives. According to the foreign media, American President Jo Baiden has lost the support of Muslims. This is the first time that the Muslims living in the United States and their organizations have jointly boycotted the iftar party of the American president. Due to the boycott, American President Jo Baiden has received a sudden blow that has created the risk of affecting his political life. Mr. Wa'el Alzayat, who leads Emgage, a Muslim advocacy organization, said that it's completely surreal. And it's sad, but all Muslims declined an invitation to break their fast with Biden this year, saying, it's inappropriate to do such a celebration while there's a famine going on in Gaza. After rejections from Alzayat and others, they said the White House adjusted its plans Monday, telling community leaders that it wanted to host a meeting focused on administration policy. Alzayat still said no, believing that one day was not enough time to prepare for an opportunity to sway Biden's mind on the conflict. I don't think the format will lend itself to a serious policy discussion, he said Tuesday afternoon. Democrats fear that Biden's loss of support among Muslims could help clear a path for his Republican predecessor to return to the White House. This year's election will likely hinge on a handful of battleground states, including Michigan with its significant Muslim population. As Muslim groups stage boycott and organize counter-protests over Biden's support for Israel's siege and brutal war on Gaza. Many Muslims, Arabs and anti-war activists have been angry with the administration's support for Israel and its military invasion in Gaza that has killed 33 of thousands and caused a starvation crisis in the narrow coastal enclave of about 2.3 million people. Another Muslim, Thaer Ahmad, was among those invited to the White House for a scaled-back meeting. It was disappointing that I was the only Palestinian in attendance, and out of respect for my community who is mourning and suffering, and I told the President Jo Baiden that I'm going to leave. He told me he understood why I needed to leave. Last year, Biden hadn't even spoken a word at the White House celebration of Ramadan before someone shouted out, "We love you." There were no such joyous scenes during this Ramadan. With many Muslim Americans outraged over Biden's support for Israel's siege of Gaza, the refusal to break bread, or even share a room with the president is fresh evidence of how fractured the relationship between Biden and the Muslim community has become 6 months after Israel began its current war on Gaza. When the Democratic president took office 3 years ago, many Muslim leaders were eager to turn the page on Donald Trump's bigotry, including his campaign pledge to implement a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. But now Democrats fear that Biden's loss of support among Muslims could help clear a path for his Republican predecessor to return to the White House. This year's election will likely hinge on a handful of battleground states, including Michigan with its significant Muslim population. Biden cannot claim to care for the Muslim Americans if he does not end his backing of Israel. These photo ops that they're doing, these discussions that they're doing to somehow show they still have the Muslim community's support, are just pathetic attempts to make themselves look good at a time where their true colors have been seen. The Biden administration has continued to approve weapons sales to Israel even as the Israeli indiscriminately kills Palestinians and aid workers in besieged Gaza.Nihad Awad, executive director of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, said he encouraged other Muslim leaders to decline invitations to the White House if they received them. The message, he said, should be, unless he calls for a ceasefire, there will be no meeting with him or his representatives. I believe that the US president is the only person in the world who can stop this. He can pick up the phone and literally tell Benjamin Netanyahu, no more weapons, just stop it, and Benjamin Netanyahu will have no choice but to do so.
حسيني